Investing Bros, welcome. Got a great guest for you today. Saw her in the title, saw her in the thumbnail. It's Jenna X. We're going to get to it in just a second. Before we do, I've got to show you guys the charts here for Bitcoin. We are getting a pretty strong daily candle rejection off of the $50,000 Bitcoin mark. Once this candle body closes above that $50,000 Bitcoin mark, I do think we're going to see quite a bit of upside. But for now, we talked about it in the 9 a.m. stream, we might be gearing up for a little bit of a mini altcoin season, as when Bitcoin does start to trade sideways, which I think it's going to be doing, not testing very low here. So sideways at this new level, establishing some solid ground, some solid price structure to make that move higher. But in the meantime, I do think we're going to see some altcoins pump. And one of those altcoins just might be XRP. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest for today, and that is none other than Jenna X. Jenna, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me on. I'm an investing bro today. I love it.
Absolutely. Super cool. Well, we had some pretty big news about XRP. We're going to be getting to that in a little bit. Before we do, you have been trading quite a bit. Your community on X and on YouTube, you've been bringing them some alpha, and you've been doing a lot of trading, much more trading than I do, I must admit. So that's pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in crypto, and then how you made the decision to become a trader.
Yeah, definitely. So I got started in crypto, I think like 2017.
Okay.
Somebody told me about Bitcoin. It was pumping, and I just wanted to learn more about it. I didn't really jump down the rabbit hole until like 2020. And that was when my best friend, the NSA, was like, hey, you should check out XRP. Ripple's getting sued by the SEC. And I'm like, oh, that means this is going to be on discount for a while. And then let me jump down that rabbit hole. So she and I would go down all kinds of rabbit holes together. Just awesome stuff. And that's what made me pretty bullish on XRP. Obviously, we've been in a discount market with XRP for a very long time. I don't expect that to be forever. But the reason I got into trading is because it's no secret. The price action on XRP is like nothing, right? It's been like a stable coin. So I want to make money, right? And not just hodl. I got really bored of it and, learn to diversify my portfolio, of course, super important, not to have all your eggs in one basket. And so I decided to go ahead and make the leap. There was a bunch of people that I followed on YouTube, Twitter. You guys, like, I tune into your channel sometimes as well. I absolutely love it.
Awesome.
Army Piper. And I
Absolutely.
actually joined Crypto Lifer's Discord and his
Sweet.
99 group. Yeah. And then there's a leverage mastery class that's also offered in there 3 times a week. So I attend that as much as possible or rewatch the videos. I've gone through Lifer's learning library. I'm in there, and now I'd say I chart at least for, I don't know, maybe 5 hours a day, but I'm
Sweet.
looking at them all the
Oh,
time,
wow.
learning. Definitely a degenerate leverage trader.
Okay.
I now love doing the 200x Bitcoin trades. I learned how to do them with zero risk and mitigating and everything like that. And,
200. You
you
said
know,
200x?
yes.
Wow. Swinging for
you
the
know,
fences. I love it.
but it's not as scary as what people think. They're like, oh my God, jump out the 200x and you could just be liquidated. Not really. If you're using a smaller margin, you can make your liquidation price zero. You get comfortable with the price coming against you. When it does, you just slam on it. You're like, hey, I think I found a bottom. You add to that baby. Then obviously, your margin is higher. And then when it goes up, you're just making money. So it's good. It's fun. But learning how to trade going into a bull run was super important for me. And I
Hmm.
am so looking forward to this and alt season. And I do agree with you that we're going to start seeing alts pop off. I mean, this is getting
Hmm.
exciting.
It is. It is. And I think we'll have a couple more days of kind of uncertainty as Bitcoin tries to figure out whether or not it's going to be able to get up above this psychological high. You also have
Mhm.
Ethereum that's been doing really, really well, kind of matching, almost matching, you'd say, the price action for Bitcoin, getting up above these candle body closes from back here in January 11th. Of course, this is a peak exuberance for the spot Bitcoin ETF passage. Did not get up above the 2,714 mark of where that ended up wicking to. Whereas if you go over to Bitcoin, it has done that and exceeded it. There on Coinbase, it has also done that on Kraken. So we're hoping to see the same thing for altcoins. Ethereum obviously is kind of a special coin, right? It's the queen. It's the queen of crypto, so to speak.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
but when it comes to when it's like XRP and Quant and some of the other like ISO 22,100, I can never remember that number.
20022.
Yes. When it comes to that narrative in that category, we've definitely seen some pretty massive upside and some pretty big explosions as well. And we're waiting to see if that's going to happen again. Obviously, we've got some names. I actually just added a bunch of names to my watch list, and some of those like Tau and Tia I hadn't had on there
Oh
quite
yeah.
yet. Yeah, and let's see some of the other ones. I had to refresh my trading view there. Stacks, Render, and Injective. Now these are not new cryptos. They're also not small or micro cap cryptos. It's just I haven't added them to my watch list, and now that we have, it's a huge indicator for the entire crypto market that it's on my watch list. But
Yeah,
those are some of the
and
names there that are doing really well over on the bubbles, crypto bubbles, and we're just going to continue to expect more of that. There's Stacks right there, up 7.6%.
yeah, definitely important to know, like stacks and ordi, those are going to pump when Bitcoin pumps. I mean, they run hand in hand. And I really think like these
Yep,
Bitcoin scaling solutions are going to do very well this bull run.
absolutely. Now, a lot of the buying is behind us. A lot of the best entry levels, obviously, you
Yeah.
buy low, you sell high. A lot of that is behind us for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. I have some family members coming to me, of course. Now they're saying, "Hey, should I buy Bitcoin?" And I say, "Look, it's been in my email signature to buy Bitcoin below 50,000 for several months, and now we're still technically below 50,000. Haven't gotten that daily close." But I am starting to feel like folks are kind of getting to that point where they're going to be missing out. Now, of course, the price predictions are up into the hundreds of thousands, right? So obviously, it's still not a terrible time to get in, right? But the best entry levels are behind us because, especially for noobs, because when the prices come back down, when there's 30%, 20% corrections, and which you can always expect that in crypto, it's going to be harder to let go, or it's going to be a lot easier to sell and liquidate out of panic than if you had a much lower entry level. So, and especially for folks who are just getting into crypto, I discourage buying tops, obviously, and trying to help folks understand that some of the best times to buy crypto is actually just right now, right? Or just get a little bit of exposure. And if you can wait for a dip, which is how I advise, is get a little exposure, wait for a dip, and get more exposure, right? But I just don't know how much longer. So I want to ask you, Jenna, somebody comes to you, says, "Hey, should I buy Bitcoin? Should I buy Ethereum?" Those names I'm picking out specifically. Are you telling people that they should continue to buy at these levels? Or are you saying just wait for a pullback right now, whether it's in social media or real life?
I think it would be more risky to say to wait for a pullback because you don't want to be that guy waiting for a pullback and it never happens. However, I mean, I've been talking about this for years, just like you have and everybody else, but it's like it doesn't get anybody's attention until it
Hmm.
moves, right?
Right.
And it's a whole psychological thing. People have this problem with buying red. I swear that if the charts were reversed, like they are in Asia, where you can buy the green when it's coming down, where it's green instead of red, it would have the opposite effect. But then too many people would make money. They'd be like, "Oh, it's going down. I'll buy it green, sell when it's red." You know what I mean? That would actually
Yeah.
make sense for them, and then they'd actually make some money. But it's once you get past that. And for me, like still buying XRP at these prices is great, but just being able to buy like Flare, Sub Penny, SHI, getting on Myria, the gaming tokens, like
Hmm.
honestly, October, we've been pretty much going up since October, and that was the last. So I have a hard time even buying right now, even though I know we're still, we still have a long ways to go with this cycle, and there are so many profits to be made. It's just kind of hard for me because I'm like, unless I see a dip, I'm not buying. I wait for
Mm.
retracements because Bitcoin, I would rather wait for retracement, make money on an altcoin, make more, and then I'd have more purchasing power for Bitcoin, to be able to buy in on the dips. But most people don't understand that or how to do that. So I guess for them, it's best to DCA in and just hodl, because in 10 years, if that is $1 million, which is not unrealistic for Bitcoin to reach $1 million in
Right.
10 years. I don't think so. They're going to be like, "Oh, well, 40,000, 30,000, 50, that was cheap. Like, I wish I would buy then." Like we're saying, we wish a guy was a couple $100.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And right now, like actually literally today, is, in my opinion, not a bad time to buy. Right? If you've been waiting to DCA, you've kind of been holding
Right.
because you've been waiting for prices to kind of cool off. This is kind of a gimme. It's a little bit of a gift in a way because Bitcoin could have gone ahead and just cleared 50,000. We could have been off to the races, right? But it's taken a pit stop, traded side. Now I'm down on the 4 hour, right? So it looks a little different than what it did just a second ago. And for folks who are really new to crypto and new to charting, the 4 hour is each candlestick is 4 hours of trading versus the daily chart. So you can manipulate the amount of time, the amount of data per candle. The daily chart looks like this. And that is, in one candlestick is actually an entire 24 hours of trading for whatever underlying asset you're looking at. So on the 4 hour here, you've got a nice bounce back to the midline of the Bollinger Band, right? It's got a bounce off of that already confirmed. And the midline of the Bollinger Band can be used to support, not so much the upper and the lower band. Those are more to help you kind of see if it's in a consolidation or an expansionary phase. But right now, we're getting some pretty solid bounce off, just like we got back here on February 12th. And so I would say, if someone's asking me, buy, should I buy today? Technically, my email signature has been consistent, right? It's still under 50,000. So I would say buy today. I think over 50,000, it's not that you shouldn't buy if you have zero exposure. I always am trying to help people get off zero when it comes to Bitcoin. However, the best entry points are behind us. I do believe today may be the exception, and it's only going to be a matter of days that we still have this opportunity. Now, of course, there could be some kind of event. I'm basing this entire argument off of the technicals alone and kind of my experience in trading. If there's an event, then all bets are off. All of this technical data, right, really kind of falls so that shatters to the ground because, CZ could say that he's partnered up with the DOJ and he's going public with all the fraud and all the money laundering in the industry, right? There could be some pretty big doomsday events. Hong Kong could say, hey, we're not allowing these spot Bitcoin ETFs in Asia. We're not passing them. Right, there could be some bad things that could cause a correction, but ultimately, what you can conclude is that there are altcoins that are undervalued compared to Bitcoin. So if someone has a little bit of exposure, right, to Bitcoin, this may not be the best time to DCA Bitcoin because it's high, right? Now there's the argument it's only going to go higher, so you got to buy high and sell high in the case of Bitcoin. But if you're looking to gain similar crypto type moves, similar crypto type gains, what are some coins that you're looking at? And I know you mentioned XRP. Is XRP one that you would recommend continuing to DCA down at these levels? Because these are still pretty oversold levels, I would say, for XRP. And I can bring up the chart while you're giving your response.
I think any XRP under $1 is a good idea. And I've always said the same with that and Matic, actually. But there are many that will probably do a higher ROI than XRP, and that's fine. But I think it's important to definitely have exposure to it. But like SHX was another one. SHX is IBM. It's built on Stellar, and all of the partnerships that they have are crazy. And Ripple's actually invested with them, but they already have, financial products out there, but it's a token nobody talked about, like nobody was speaking about. So buying that sub penny, like I got that 0.00, I think 04. There was quite a few zeros, and now we're almost pushing a penny. And just now the XRP community is starting to look at it and talk about it. So that's another one. But yeah, it's a payments token, rewards, and governance. But also, I think it's really important to look at low market cap gaming tokens, right? And guys, don't marry these. This is the important thing. Like, I've learned the hard way not to marry my tokens anymore. You've got to pay yourself. You've got to take profit because other people will. You don't have to take all of it, but it's really important to have a strategy with it. But yeah, back to gaming. I think gaming tokens, DeFi, AI, you should definitely have some exposure to AI in your portfolio. And of course, your blue chips, they're going to be less risky than some of the others. But that's why, there are tools like token metrics and things that you can pull up that you can look at and be like, hey, maybe I'm going to let AI make some picks for me, and I'm going to, throw a couple $100 here and there and see what happens, at the ones that are really high risk. And, sometimes they do pay off. Yeah. Oh my God, we broke a penny. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you bought
That
this
was
sub
great.
penny? That's awesome. Good for you, Jenna.
Yeah, 0.00, I think 04. Yeah, I remember paying $400 for 1 million of them. So
Gotcha.
whatever it
Sounds
was,
about
and I was
right.
getting more. Yeah, so it's been good. I'm really
Sounds about
happy with
right.
that play. Yeah.
Now, this is a just under 60 million market cap coin, stronghold token, SHX. Currently, it's on. Oh, it's on a couple. It's on XLM and it's on Ether.
Don't buy the Ethereum one. Best to go like on Bitrue to get it.
BitTrue.
Yeah, or you can get it on like Stellar Term, like on a Stellar Dex. Don't use Ethereum. The gas fees and stuff are crazy. It's now a Stellar token, so yeah, don't even mess with
Gotcha.
the ETH version.
There you
But yeah,
go. Makes
that's a
sense.
good one.
Makes
Yeah,
sense. So you're that is a narrative I have not heard very much of, is the stellar ecosystem coins,
yeah,
right? Which you're saying, you're kind of bringing to the investing bros, saying, hey, this ecosystem is actually worth a look. You know,
yeah.
yeah. So that's actually pretty cool.
They're
No,
really focusing too on like tokenizing assets and all of that. Like, yeah, there's a
mhm,
ton of like dumb tokens being built on it that are just, you can make a shit coin anywhere.
sure.
But it's definitely important to look at because Stellar is really building. And Judd McCaleb, I call him Judd the Judas, but Stellar's not going anywhere. It's pretty safe bet.
There you go. You heard it here. You heard it from Jenna herself. Now I've got the XRP price pulled up here, and it's kind of reached this crossroads in a way for me, which is that it's been trading down below this uptrending line of what was support, but then got flipped in resistance and kind of this dramatic, tug of war here between this line, and this line goes back a ways, but I won't zoom out. Now it's kind of coming back into this territory where it's gotten back up above this downtrending line of support, and it's flipped that back into support. And so now it's kind of like, can it double its money, right, and flip that old support, the old resistance back into support. And we've got a couple candles that have actually been kind of convincing in that. We've also got some wicks that have come up and touched the upper band of the Bollinger Band there on the daily. So, a lot. Here's what I'll say, Jenna, is I think that the XRP community, it's strong, right? But I do feel like there has been weakness recently.
Mhm.
Now we've got a headline that we're going to be getting to in just a second, but when we're talking about allocating, right, and we're talking about like getting good entry points, if you still are out there and you believe in XRP, you believe in the thesis, you like Brad Garlinghout's leadership, and you think that the roadmap for XRP is one that's compelling, and ultimately you tweeted out recently, Jenna, that XRPL is doing what it was set out to do, right?
Mhm.
If you still
Yeah.
believe in that compelling narrative, XRP is one of the better large cap cryptos with one of the lowest entry prices right now. So it's something that I've kind of gone back and forth on. Tim still owns a little bit of XRP, but in terms of it getting low in a crypto, you're basically still at levels from. It's kind of like where the rest of crypto was back in October, November.
Right. Right. So it's like, is it going to make a one giant move? Here's the thing with XRP. If you think about it, if the price was extremely volatile, would would institutions use that to move millions and millions of dollars, like large amounts of money? Because think about how much the price would fluctuate just in, a few seconds of moving it over cross border if it was all over the place. You know what I mean? So I think that that's one of the reasons I don't believe it's a stable coin, because I don't go with that whole narrative. But I think that stability in the price is important. I think that it will eventually have its day. But you touched on something, and I think it's also important to say there has been a lot of people in the community, they're like, oh, giving up on it. Listen, okay, the fundamentals have not changed at the end of the day. They
That's
have not.
correct.
And if anything, we're going to get into even more news with Ripple, but there was news over the AMM. People are freaking out because that was delayed a few weeks because of a bug. The bug got fixed. Listen, this is important. Most of the people complaining about an AMM will never even use an AMM. They probably don't even know how to use a liquidity pool, So they
Mhm.
just want price go up. That's it. They don't care about, what's important for the
Right.
actual health of the ledger. So, we've been done with that for 10 years. A few more weeks is not going to hurt anything. So I think that's something also very important to know. And also, most of the holders of XRP, they don't even know how to use the XRP DEX. There was just
Mm.
a poll that went out about that, I think it was like over 70% don't even use it. So it's important to learn like the ecosystem and hold it. But, people, the negativity, the giving up, that's when it makes me want to buy more. Like I'm reversed. I'm like, if everybody's giving up on this and selling, maybe I should just buy more and hold it. But the important thing is to be diversified. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket, and then you won't have shit to complain about.
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, there's no denying that XRP, it is still in the top 10, if not the top 5 Let me actually just confirm that while I've got it here. XRP, so it's in the top 10. It's currently ranked number 6. If you take out Tether, the stable coin, then it is in the top 5. Most folks won't do that though. But when you're talking about crypto, right? A lot of people are brand new to it, right? They're coming into the space. They don't even know, XRP from Cardano, from Bitcoin, from Tether. They don't know the differences really, and so they're coming in. They're seeing the top 6 coins. XRP is in terms of like what is the most underbought. I would say it's XRP. The question is there a reason it's underbought, or is it just opportunity that's ripe for the picking? Obviously, that's going to be what you at home watching on your phone, on your TV, on your laptop, on your tablet, or on your Apple Vision have to decide for yourself, right? None of this is financial advice. It's financial fun. And
yes, I like that, financial fun.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of fun, Army Piper is the one who brought all this together. This episode would not have existed. It's produced and managed and everything made possible by Army Piper over at the Piper Academy. He's celebrating 7 months of membership. He says, Jenna X, T-Shroom, a collab of my peoples. Absolutely.
Love Army Piper.
You are his wingman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I was Air Force. He was Army, so he always calls me wingman. I love it.
Awesome. The Chair Force, some people might say.
Yeah. I'm a nerd. That's what's up.
Super cool. We've definitely got some vets in the chat, some vets in the community here. Well, we've talked about it. We've referenced it. Let's go ahead and dive into it. This is the story here from XRP. It's bullish, and it's just waiting to be read. Ripple acquires New York Crypto Trust Company, and the company is Standard Custody and Trust Co. In a move that will certainly expand the firm's U.S. options, Ripple Labs has acquired New York Crypto Trust Company, Standard Custody and Trust Company. A boring name like that, there's some big money behind it. The development will increase the firm's regulatory qualifications, ding, 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 and allow it to increase its operations within the United States. The development could also be a step in moving the firm beyond simply its current payment offerings. The company announced the acquisition amid its ongoing high-profile legal battle with the SEC. Of course, that saga continues. The lawsuit is currently in remedies phase. Okay, so that's an interesting characterization of it there. This brought to you by Watch Your Dog Guru, the coverage for this. So this expansion, how bullish is this for Ripple versus XRP? Give it to us. Give it to us straight. Let us know what is going through your mind here with this story.
All right, so super bullish. Look, the biggest reason with doing these acquisitions, and this one in particular, is so that Ripple can offer more services in-house, like tokenizing assets. And that's big, right? Because when we're talking tokenizing assets, we're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars, right? Trillions and trillions of dollars worth of assets. What all can be tokenized? Real estate, precious metals, corporate equity, art, collectibles, commodities, debt, financial assets, you name it, it can be tokenized. So that is super bullish. These things take time. So is that reflected in the price of XRP right now? Absolutely not. But is another part of that story. I read that Ripple has now like 40 some money transmitter licenses in the US.
Wow.
And they're acquiring the rest of them. Everything that they need this year in 2024 was a statement put out by Monica Long. So I'm like, okay. I don't think that they would put something out like that and not actually deliver on that, because, the community would be like, going after them like crazy. They'd never hear the end of it. So sure. Super bullish on that. I mean, tokenizing assets is going to be huge, but Ripple's doing all of the right things. They've got regulatory clarity. They're doing everything the right way. So I think that says a lot about them.
Yeah, well, it definitely seems bullish, right? Because ultimately what has to happen for these types of deals to go through is you have to have both sides saying yes. And what this displays at a crucial time that we're seeing on the charts for XRP, right? We mentioned this downtrending. This is an ancient line here, downtrending line of what was kind of resistance, now technically flipped to support. We'll zoom back down into a second. And then also this uptrending line of support, which recently there's kind of been some conflict with, right? There's kind of been a slip of that support, a breakdown lower, and now an attempt to get back above. So this news really couldn't have come at a better time, because now Ripple has been able to go ahead and gain this asset, right? Standard company and trust company. Did I know about this company before today? Not really, right? But what's important is the qualifications and the certifications and all the licensing that this company already has to do institutional grade digital asset custody. And as you're saying, Jenna, tokenization. Now, these are custody and tokenization alone would, having the licenses for that, especially in the state like New York, is probably, already a slam dunk, a home run, whatever you want to say, right? But it's also the timing at which this headline's coming out. It's having it. What this really does, Jen, in my opinion, is the waves of people who are considering selling XRP this week to rotate into another coin, maybe Bitcoin, maybe into Tesla that's really underbought as well. They're going to hold, right? And it's not going to be all of them. There's also going to be percentage of the market that's going to say, hey, XRP, just like what Jen is saying, is underbought, right? There's, screw the naysayers. There's always going to be haters for XRP, always have been, always will be. Gary Gensler's right at the front of the line, right? But this is underbought. It's an underbought project, and there's no way around that. No headline can convince you of that. So it is definitely underbought, and this is a very, very big headline. So, at the end of the day, if I now we see these type of questions on Twitter all the time. If I gave you $10,000 today, would you buy Bitcoin or XRP?
Oh man, I already have enough XRP, so I'd go for the Bitcoin. But if I did not own XRP, I would buy the XRP.
Gotcha.
How about that?
Okay.
Although I do think, yeah, that's hard. ROI, here's the thing. If you look at the market cap of these, and if you look at the token supply, there's a lot of XRP, right? And based on current price movement, it's a gamble whether it could go up or it doesn't. But I have waited way too long for this thing to go up, and I already have plenty of it. So I would personally go with the Bitcoin. But if you offered me another option, something really, really low cap, I would take that instead of either of those two.
Gotcha. So if I said like Caspa or
I'd take the Caspa over either one of those right now. If you said 10,000 in any of them, I'd pick the $10,000 of Caspa.
Gotcha. Because so like me and so much of the market, you're probably 85-90% deployed at this point, because it's the tea leaves are speaking very clearly, right? You have Larry Fink coming out and saying Bitcoin is a flight to quality. BlackRock continuing to kind of echo that sentiment, different folks kind of in that orbit, right? And then Wall Street has pretty much all but given the green stamp on crypto, run it through, and Ethereum's going to be next, right? And so it's not hard to see. And on top of all that, you've got China potentially thawing, you've got the halving right around the corner, and you've got regulatory clarity being demanded by Janet Yellen over at the Treasury. Now, that could be tricky. That's going to be a double-edged sword for sure. But the sooner we can get actual, congressional legislation on crypto, the easier it's going to be for the Coinbases of the world to sprout up and actually thrive in a country that they can operate in. Anything else left to say to the XRP army or folks who are maybe on the fence about XRP? And then we've got some other kind of macro headlines as well that I want to get your take on.
Well, it's not that I want to shill XRP or anything, but it's a whole thing of watch what they do, not what they say, right? We've had so many different narratives being pushed and everything. And look, now we have a Bitcoin ETF, and now we have all of these. And, we just had Janet Yellen and Senator Warren saying crypto bad. That's going to be, so they're saying crypto bad, CBDC good. Watch what they do. But anyway, so we have BlackRock and all of these other companies that are buying up the Bitcoin. There's going to be a scarcity shock, with what's left on exchanges. We have the halving coming up, and people have less and less purchasing power, right? So we don't have the money now to put into these things that we may have 10 plus years ago. So it's really important to make the right choices now, because these assets are just going to keep appreciating in value. Bitcoin, I personally believe, is digital gold. As much as I love XRP, I believe that Bitcoin is a store of value. Firmly believe that. And, it's going to be less and less that we're able to purchase. So I think it's important that people hear our message now and they really start researching, because time is running out. It's almost at this point, and not financial advice, buy it now, research later. Honestly, just do it. Not financial advice.
Well, that is a good approach for buying Bitcoin, and it could be definitely applicable to other cryptos for sure. Because at the end of the day, like if you ask like a suburban housewife, or you ask like a skater, or even if you ask like somebody who's working a very professional job and they're skilled in their craft, like a surgeon, right,
Mhm.
or you're an electrical engineer, or somebody who's really like a skilled mechanic at your local
Mhm.
Ford or Chevy dealership, right? These people, that you can't expect them to know exactly how their Visa or MasterCard payment services work, and yet they use them, they rely on them day in and day out, and they turn to organizations like Bank of America and Wells Fargo. And even though
Mhm.
those two organizations are littered with corruption and cases of fraud, and billions and billions of dollars of lawsuits against those institutions, you say, I'm going to go ahead and trust them with my entire net worth, right? Whether it be holding my
Right.
stocks or holding my USD. And so when it comes to buying crypto, that is sometimes a kind of a mindset that folks have to be
Mhm.
ready for, is that you buy it first and understand it later.
Mhm.
It's just the way it goes. Do you understand Nvidia? Do you understand how graphics cards are made? And
No,
probably not. But
no.
but if Nancy Pelosi's buying calls on Nvidia, I'm going to buy Nvidia, right? So
I mean, I would love to see her portfolio. Like, can I copy trade her anywhere?
you well, you'd be delayed because her
Does she
her
have an
trades.
eToro?
Yeah, that would be a really funny eToro name, Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if you'd be able to get away with that, impersonating a senator. Maybe. I love it. All right, well, we've
Just
got a couple.
VPN.
Exactly. We've got a couple other stories here. There was a pretty big headline this morning, which is that inflation kind of came across and kind of gave the economy the side eye. Is kind of my interpretation of the economic data today, because it wasn't overly bearish, it wasn't overly a miss, but it was kind of a miss, right? And okay, so the data here, the year over years for core was 3.9. That was the actual print. The consensus was 3.7, and that was the forecast as well. So it did come in hot, right? That there's no way around that. It came in hot, to the tune of 0.2%. Inflation rate year over year, so the headline inflation, it came in 3.1, and that was higher than consensus, but met forecast, right? So there's kind of like the last couple of CPI prints, there's kind of been a little bit for everybody, for the bulls and for the bears. And if you're at home, you're writing a blog, right, for your newsletter, whatever it is, your finance newsletter, you've got something to write about here. You can convince your audience to buy or sell if you're telling them what to do rather than leading them to knowledge. That is. So ultimately, what I see here is that Bitcoin was going to get above 50,000, and it didn't. Was it due to this CPI print? I think it was a factor. I think it was an ingredient in the bearish soup, right, as it were. But ultimately, Decrypt.co has a take on this as well. Can you believe it? The crypto media has an opinion on the CPI print. Bitcoin back below 50,000 after inflation data spooks investors. The Bitcoin price is down 2% in the past 24 hours, according to CoinGecko, and currently trading at 48,700. A report from the U.S. Labor Department showed exactly what I just read, and as results, risk assets like U.S. equities dropped as investors pondered that the Federal Reserve might put off slashing interest rates in the coming months, and that's exactly what we saw from the Cabesi letter, now summarizing it well. It's official. Higher for longer is back. For the first time this year, markets are now predicting they're pricing in just 4 interest rates in 2024. And just 6 weeks ago, markets were expecting 6 interest rate cuts in 2024. So more importantly, though, the timing of the first rate cut has been pushed all the way back to June, which is actually the date of my wedding. Getting excited about that. But Jenna,
Oh,
what is going
congrats.
thank you. What is going on here? Do you think that the Fed is going to play as prominent of a role in deciding the price action of crypto, considering the halving?
Okay. So yes and no. I always check Forex Factory calendar before, just to see how many red folders we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super important because on those days, your trading can be a little shaky. But I'll be honest with you, this is a good sign. Like with Bitcoin today, 2% that's not anything to me, right? I mean,
Yep.
I was in a couple of positions on January 3rd that it took me until this week to get out of. Like I was just sitting in them on Mexi for a while, like, so today though, before I did open up a short and I'm happy about that. It did play out. But I really thought that it was going to be a lot worse today. I think that where Bitcoin's kind of priced in right now, I'm feeling really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that more and more people are coming to it as a flight of safety. I think with the halving and all of the narratives that we have right now, like I said, the scarcity factor, the ETF, like they are buying it up. So I'm not really so worried about, that crashing or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I think we're still bullish.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I covered this morning in the 9 a.m. stream is this tweet from Bitcoin Archive, which says that grayscale Bitcoin outflows have stabilized under 100 million per day as inflows into the other 9 Bitcoin ETFs are around 400 to 600 million per day, right? So as you can see here, this is the bullish of all bull charts in my opinion, which is that the largest market participant seller, the biggest seller of Bitcoin exposed products, GBTC, has waned in its selling, right? So it had some huge days of selling. That's what these blue histograms are. Those have pretty much all but receded into obscurity. These are not really very high levels anymore. These were. And these are what kept, this is what basically induced the sell the news event that everybody was talking about with Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Well, that force, that market participant, that seller is now pretty much out of the market. As you see, this average selling has pretty much tapered off and stabilized. Now, not completely, but it has come way under control compared to what it was doing. So that's kind of the last data point here, which brings me to exactly what you just said, Jenna, which is 2% is not that much. Look at this. Look, like we got to these highs up here. I'll even be generous. From wick to trough here, wick to wick, 4% move, right? That is for a CPI print, that is very, very, very attractive, right? I think there is going to be some money that comes in. Obviously, it did. It's already gotten a bid. As this show has been live, it's already gotten a bid to the upside. Now I'll be generous on the upside too here. Wick to live candle body stick here on the 1 hour. That's 2% move back up, right? So it is bullish, right? And this comes at a time where we look over at the NASDAQ. Let's start with the S&P. This is what's going on at the S&P. This looks a little different, right? This looks a lot more bearish. I am zoomed out, so let's be fair and go back out to the daily here.
Gaps.
Yeah. This is going to be quite a gap, right? And for the stock market, this is much more, I would say, than Bitcoin's 4% correction. This 2.5%, 2.3, where we're live right now from yesterday, it's a lot worse. So the stock market is kind of bearing the brunt of the selling from the CPI print, but I would say that CPI print really wasn't that bearish. This isn't, as in Caleb Franzen's words, I don't know if you know who that is. Caleb Franzen, he's one of our favorite ex-Wall Street analyst guys. He comes on and he tells us what's going on with the Fed and things like that. But as he likes to say, this is not a very convincing sell-off. This is back on the S&P as well. Like a lot of times what's going on here is hedge funds will say, oh, there's going to be a negative print according to our analyst. Let's go ahead and let's sell. Let's get the price a couple of percentages down to spook the market to try to convince them that we're going lower. We come in, buy it lower, and then say la vie, you're off to the races. It's not convincing. Nobody's convinced right now that the S&P isn't just going to continue to push higher, right? That AI and Apple with its Supervision Pro or whatever it is isn't going to bring buyers, bring bulls back into the market. So overall, I'm very, very bullish on this market. On the crypto side, even more so. So yeah, man, Jenna, it's so good to have you on. I see your tweets, I see your content quite a bit, and you're absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. I love it.
Thank you, my friends. So are you. This show is absolutely awesome. I just think you hit so many great points and, provides a lot of educational value for the space. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
For sure. Well, you guys can go and check out Jenna X on X. Jenna X on X. Made for X. She's over here, and you'd never guess what her handle is. It's Jenna X Crypto. So
it's so hard. I know.
So go follow her. She's got that awesome pink black background there. It's hard to miss. And then also on YouTube, your links for X and YouTube are both in the description of this very video. I've made it extremely convenient for you, bros. Yes. So you
I
guys
appreciate you. Thank
make
you so
sure you go
much.
follow her. And you do a lot of like AMAs with different projects. Not a lot, but
Yeah.
you do way more than we do. And I really like that because you're helping folks,
Mhm.
bring their product to market, help show folks, investors, hey, look, this is a new project. With
Yeah.
it's got a really high reward, so it's going to come up with a little more risk. That's something you can expect probably a little bit more from Investing Bros. And if you want to get a sneak peek at what some of that content is like, Jenna's got some great content like that. But if I follow you on X and I follow you on YouTube, what's kind of your heartbeat? When do I tune in? When am I going to get the most Jenna?
Honestly, I'm probably random. No, it's random. I don't have a set time. Not
Gotcha.
yet. Haven't made it set random. Sometimes I like nighttime, but I'm just random.
No worries. Yeah,
You
I
just
like
gonna
it.
find me randomly.
I think other than our set show times, I'm pretty much the same thing. Is it's pretty random. I think
Yeah.
the bros love the set show times, the 9 a.m. and the 3 p.m. So I think we're gonna let it rock there. But I am very random myself, for sure. So, well, with a couple more minutes here, I want to get into what we call the factoid of the day. So the
Oh,
factoid of the day is something usually I've got some kind of crazy trivia to pin down. Tim, who's my partner on the show, who's not here today. Tim will be here tomorrow. I haven't decided if I'm going to make a promo graphic for Tim on his own show, but I think I might just because I've been absolutely loving making these promo graphics. And bros, you have been loving liking them over on X, and I appreciate it. This factoid of the day is brought to you by Decrypted.tax. If you're looking for tax solutions for your 2023 tax season, you go on over here, book your free consultation with Ernest, free 60 minutes. You don't have to stay that long, but you're going to feel very comfortable. You're going to feel relief in your back. You're going to feel relief in your finances, and you're going to be on the path to tax success in 2023 and also 2024. Now, T-Shroom, can he handle such complexities as I already have a 401k, I have stocks, I've got real estate, I've got a W-2, for Pete's sake. He can do it all. Jenna X, what is the bird that has the highest flight speed? Is it the common swift? Is it the gray-headed albatross? Is it the golden eagle? Or is it the peregrine falcon? Take your pick. What do you think?
oh man. I don't even know what an albatross is. I don't think it's an eagle because they're large, and I think the larger they are, the not as fast they can fly. I don't actually know if that's true, but I'm thinking like little and quick. I'm
Mm,
gonna say common swift because it just has swift in its name.
gotcha.
So yeah, lock me in for A.
Now, are you a big Taylor Swift fan? Could that have influenced your decision here?
I'm not a Swifty. I'm just going with like Swift, highest flight speed. That's literally the only reason.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well,
Okay.
here we go. The answer to today's factoid is it's the peregrine falcon.
Oh, I
Now,
learned something new today.
there you go. The Swift is not too far down on the ranks here. It's kind of like Coin Market Cap. It is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is Swift. It is Swift out there in the world of birds, but it's the peregrine falcon here that takes the
Okay.
cake. Look at him
All right.
giving the side eye, just like the CPI print this morning was giving the side eye to investors. We like to have fun here.
I
All
love
right.
it.
This has been a ton of fun, Jenna. We got to have you on very, very soon. But I have to ask you this question because I asked this to Kelly Kellum yesterday. Do
Okay.
you think we see all-time highs, meaning above 69,000 for Bitcoin before the halving event? What do you think?
No, I think it's going to be after the halving. But I
Okay.
definitely think we're going to see all-time highs this year, but I think it's going to happen after.
Gotcha.
That's just my guess.
It's a it's split. It seems like most folks are leaning barely that it will be before the halving that we'll see the all-time high, but I'm in the camp not so fast. I think that the
Yeah.
types of money that's going to be able to move Bitcoin that high is the type of money that likes to wait on the sidelines. Now, it's also the type of money that likes to get good entries. So if I'm like a big pension fund, that is going to be something where I'm kind of all or nothing, right? Because
Mhm.
it's not so much like I want to dabble in risk. I think the thesis there for pension funds is it going to be legal? Is the board going to like fire everybody who's making the decisions at the California pension fund, right? Or you
Mhm.
fill in your favorite American state, whatever it's going to be. I think that it's kind of an all or nothing with the pensions, and of course they're not going to buy all or nothing at one time. They'll layer in, but once they get the green light, they get the green light and they're going to go. Whereas a sovereign wealth fund like the Saudi fund or the Emirati fund, or if it's something like a family office, they will go ahead and kind of dabble, maybe even trade before they go full investment into whatever they're going to allocate in for Bitcoin. So I think ultimately we are going to see the all-time high after the halving, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these bigger money managers say, hey, let's take that green light from Larry Fink, let's run with it. If something goes wrong, right, we can just make it back up. Especially money managers who've already had a good year in 2024, which there are some, right, who feel like they could or last 5 years for their clients, right? They feel like they have a little bit of social capital to spend, a little bit of risk capital to spend here, and they want to really impress their clients. They want to get ahead of it, get a good entry. And if they've been emailing with me, then they know that a good entry means below $50,000. So
I knew that from your email. I was like, oh, this is a nice little footer.
Exactly. So what are some of the biggest things that you're excited about here going into 2024 in crypto, or just in your own life as a creator, or in collaboration with Piper, being Piper's wingman? I'm sure there's a lot to be excited about there as well.
Honestly, this is a big year for me because choosing the path of learning to trade was huge. So I run my own business, and outside of, crypto, how I make money to buy crypto. And I'm moving my business. Actually this weekend, my lease is up in one building. I'm moving it with my other employees to another building. And I'm kind of downsizing to simplify that, where I can now check in. I can work part-time if I want, but I can focus after this move is done on crypto, what I want to do. I want to be trading. I want to be creating content, and I want to make crypto my full time. So now I'm actually going to be able to do that. And with this bull run and everything, that I know I'm actually going to be able to make this move. So that's really big for me. And also, I'm getting married this year too in November. Yes, I got engaged. So I'm super excited. And you know what? Congrats to us, man.
Very nice. I love it. Well, yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. And so that's really cool. It sounds like you're making some moves there in your professional entrepreneurial life. Comes with risk, but you're taking the plunge. I love it. I myself have been kind of playing the line here with my entrepreneurial endeavors, but I love crypto. It's a place to be. There's plenty of money and there's plenty of opportunity, so I'm feeling good about it. Now we've had a couple of comments here from in the chat. Sidemen me love. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it.
Hey, homie.
Said, ouch. Called her a Taylor Swift fan, shaking my head. Deaf Falcon, come on. We all love Charles. Oh, because Charles is a falconer. That's right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I actually have the same initials as Taylor Swift, TS, Taylor Schrum. So I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I genuinely, I'm an appreciator of popular music. I know a lot of people are too cool for popular music. I get it. I'm not. I'm just not one of them. I'm not cool. So I like Taylor Swift. Your official position on Taylor Swift was that you're not a big fan, but do you like her music in general?
They say that there's not a gray area on Taylor Swift, but I disagree. I think I'm in the gray.
Gotcha.
I liked Taylor a lot more when she came out and she was this curly haired country singer. Like that was my favorite Taylor.
Different time.
Yeah, but I'm not, I'm in the gray. Like it's all right.
Yeah. I like it. Well, she's got a blank space, baby, and she can write my name. I'll tell you what. From a fan standpoint, nothing more. Ripple shares IPO this year. What do you think about that? Explore more. Wondering what your thoughts on there are. I'll share mine as well.
Not until this SEC thing is completely done. I think once the lawsuit is completely over with and that's behind them, then they can do that. So whenever that would be, it would be after that. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I love it. Gustavo shocked. He is beside himself. Oh, Shroomy is a Swiftie. Can you believe it? My take here is that I agree. I think you've got to get past this. And the metaphor that I like to use here is it's kind of like if the kid that's getting disciplined out on the recess field, right? You're out there playing recess and you pull somebody's hair, right? So you're in timeout. Or that's kind of what XRP has been in. Ripple has been, in timeout. But now, from timeout, you're shouting to the rest of the playground, when I get out of here, I'm going to file to be traded publicly on the New York Stock Exchange, right? I'm going to be the top security guard, safety patrol, whatever it is, right? I'm going to run for
When I
top safety
bust
patrol.
out of this joint.
Exactly. So it could go off really, really well. I think that there's a path for XRP to do really, really well. It would be the first company, at least in the United States. There's probably some arrangements like this in other countries that maybe have varying levels of sophistication in their financial regulators. But in the United States, at least, so Coinbase is publicly traded already, has no coin, has a layer 2 on Ethereum, right? But there's no coin associated with it, just the stock. Right. Whereas XRP, if they were to IPO, they would have a coin and they would have shares. And so they'd be straddling two different liquidity markets. It would not only be new for crypto and stocks, it'd be new, it'd be unprecedented. It'd be so interesting. I hope that they do it.
I mean, is it though? Because Ripple is the company, that's the tech company, and XRP is the currency. Like, that's what's needed to move the money and everything. So I think they're two totally different things. Like, the Ripple, that is actually a security, whereas this is a currency. I don't know. I think that's like apples and oranges, right? But I think that people that are fans of Ripple would definitely love to buy the Ripple stock. I think that's a way better investment than XRP, to be honest with you, if you could get your hands on it as an accredited investor.
Gotcha. Well, it's interesting you say that, because I do think about it similarly, where you almost see XRP as kind of like a part of the product, like how Walmart has shelves. You walk into Walmart, you got to have shelves to be able to buy stuff off of and to display, right, the goods there. Where XRP is almost like just part of the equipment of the company that is Ripple, right? And so yes, the price goes up and down, which is abnormal, right? The price of cereal doesn't go up and down all that much. So maybe not a perfect one-to-one analogy. But you kind of see it that way, where if they were to turn around to the stock market and say, hey, we're issuing shares, the reason that you would do that is because you want to grow, right? You want to say, hey, we want to issue shares so that we can build headquarters in London and Singapore, and so that we can 10x, 20x our company, right? But a lot of crypto companies, or a lot of crypto projects, are started with the kind of the thought, we're going to just issue these coins, and those coins are going to get swapped for dollars. We're going to take those dollars. We're going to hire developers. We're going to have a headquarter in Singapore, in London, right? So it's going to be interesting. I do think that you have probably the right perspective on it, that XRP is just part of the infrastructure of the company that is Ripple. It's part of their operations, but I don't know that the rest of the market is going to understand that. And I'm sure that the SEC is going to do everything they can to help them not understand that.
Oh my God. The clarity, just nothing. They give us nothing. They make things up as they go. I don't even want to get started on it. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. It's been a tough road. Now, when did you say you first bought XRP?
2020. Actually, that's a lie. I bought like a couple, like nothing, worth mentioning, in probably 2018 or something like that. But I didn't actually start really buying it until 2020, when I learned that they were getting sued. I just bought like a couple things on Coinbase early on, not knowing what they were. But also, did you see, this is a good thing, that Ledger is integrating with Coinbase so that people can just send straight to their hardware wallet. Well, we're talking Coinbase. Kind of torn on that, because I wouldn't do it, because I don't want to KYC my hardware wallet, but I think simplicity is going to bring a lot more people into crypto. I was thinking about that.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think a lot of people are not in crypto for the anonymity. I think a lot of people are, right? And just like you said, you kind of KYC yourself, whenever you transfer money from a wallet, from an exchange wallet like Coinbase, where you have to KYC to a cold wallet. So yeah, like I said, I see a certain percentage of people are not going to have a problem with that, just because they're nobodies, right? That's a good way to describe them. They're not worried about anything. They're also not doing anything illegal. I think in general, it's just a good technological innovation, right? To allow people the ability to do that, right? And if people still want to, run it through MetaMask or run it through some kind of anonymity, tracker, so that they can, get it into their cold wallet without being KYC'd, then they'll have that option. But, that at the end of the day, that's what capitalism's all about, right? The best ideas are going to win the day, right? Yeah. We don't search things on Yahoo. We don't search things on Bing. We search things on Google, right? So if people aren't going to want to use that transfer straight from Coinbase to cold wallets, they're not going to do it, or very, very few will. Now, I appreciate you bringing that up. That's essentially my take. Now, some of you, with what I'm about to say, some of you are going to absolutely freak out. It looks like my internet is lagging here. There we go. Back up and running. But some of you guys are about to freak out because you did not realize that tomorrow is Valentine's Day. But it is. And since, Jenna, both of us are getting married this year to different people, I want to hear, what is your favorite Valentine's story? Have you ever had someone who loved you and that you loved that actually went way above and beyond? I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question, so if you don't want to answer, it's okay. But you don't have to go into any kind of level of detail that you don't want. But what was the best Valentine experience that you've ever had?
I think I haven't had it yet.
There you go.
I feel like I haven't had it yet, and my best Valentine's experience is about to be this one.
Very nice.
Okay, what about you? What about you? Let me hear.
Setting those expectations high. Well, I will absolutely say that last year's Valentine's Day was the best. It was the first time that I really put together like a really great Valentine's Day for the woman I love, and it was a lot of fun. And we came home and we researched the history of Valentine's Day very thoroughly. We had a really good time with that, and just trying to get back to the roots of Saint Valentine. Aww. So yeah, and so it's always good to kind of celebrate these days, and hopefully you aren't sitting there right now scrambling on Google Maps. Oh, I've got to find somewhere that doesn't have reservations, fully capped. So hopefully you're not putting yourself into some trouble here. But you have T-Shroom, you have Jenna X to thank with helping you out. Now you have a little bit of time to plan to make a smile appear on the face of your loved one rather than a frown. You're welcome. Well, Jenna, as I said, this has been absolutely fabulous. It's been amazing, and we've hopefully helped you all kind of gain a different perspective on XRP than maybe you had before. We also talked about a couple of cool projects on the XLM ecosystem, which you don't hear a ton about, and that ticker was SHX.
Yes, definitely look up Stronghold.
Excellent. So that's a big +1 for my memory. Wasn't expecting to be able to remember that. That's great. And then you also said that we're probably not going to see all-time high for Bitcoin before the halving. I tend to agree on that one. And then you also said you answered one of the questions from the chat, which was, will there be an IPO for Ripple in 2024? And it seems like you didn't answer directly the date, which is totally fine, but you kind of gave a better landmark, which is probably not going to happen until the XRP v SEC. I'm sorry, Ripple Labs v SEC case is settled. So we got, if you did not feel like you got alpha today, you are just wrong, right? So go ahead and smash that like button for me. If you're not subscribed and you felt like you got value from this video, or even if you got a laugh from the Valentine's Day segment or the Peregrine Falcon segment with the factoid, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. But you were in the top 7, right? The top 7 fastest birds.
I picked the slowest out of all of the choices you gave me.
No.
Yes, I did.
No. Oh, man. Well, we had a ton of fun. Again, Broz, if you are not subscribed to Jenna on both X and also on YouTube, you tripping. Get on over there and get you some more Jenna. And if you are not subscribed here to the Investing Bros, obviously I'd encourage you to do that as well. This episode has been brought to you by Decrypted.tax. If you are looking for a tax solution for your 2023 taxes, look no further than Decrypted.tax. Book your free consultation today with the link below. Jenna, we'll have to have you on again soon. It was a lot of fun. Anything else you wanted to tell the audience before we sign off here?
No, just stay safe out there, guys, and definitely do your research and don't miss this opportunity of a lifetime that we have in front of us. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
There you go. See you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. money like Lego. Connect the dots, stack banking. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.